She's funky, weird, she raps, she sings. She is never afraid to speak her mind. The always, always honest, crazy, and outspoken. Did I mention beautiful? Azealia Banks.
And the proper pronunciation of your name is?
Azealia.
Azealia.
Yeah.
A-Z.
E-A-L-I-A.
I like the E-A, because you know what? EA Sports is in the game.
Cheek, cheeky, chickle, sip a giggly grape. Yes, I jiggle when I wiggle, shake and shake up the bake. Best to get a mister for your best one, do. The jet setter with the pleasure in the wet pumpoon. The black cherry you wanna tickle when the breasts undo. You lick the left one, you gotta lick the right one too, nigga.
Because what made you want to get into the game?
It was kind of like a lot of reasons. Like, I had like a boyfriend at the time who was rapping, and he was just like always rapping all the time, and all his friends rap. So I kind of just did it like for fun.
The boyfriend that you had, was you doper than him?
Yeah, I was actually.
That's why you ain't together right now.
What is your first recollection of trying to write music?
The first time I actually like wrote a real song was 17, and I put it on the internet.
Which song was it?
It's called 17. I was 17 and the song's called 17.
So deep.
Right? So deep.
You a heartbeaker, I can tell, baby. You
No,
yes,
not.
you did.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you did. You hit him with some of that chocolate love likes. She hit him with that chocolate drop. Why you drive that man crazy like that? What you do? Hey, homie, it's gonna be all right. I'm gonna send you a care package. I'm gonna send you some shoes, hair care products, and some blunts, so you'll be all right, okay? You gotta learn how to heal that wound. She done moved on, man. She on the bigger and better things.
I grew up in New York City, you know, like I grew up riding the trains and like cursing and shit. Like my mom was always like, no, that's not even a question. Like my mother was just always like cursing. Like, you know, like even when she was just like saying something really nice, like she's like cursing. Like I don't know why. Like I curse a lot and I need to stop. I need to like chill, but it is what it is. I think English culture is really polite, you know, or like, okay, not polite, but like classist, you know? So it's like, y'all have like mad social like rules. So like everyone has to like speak like proper English and like, you know, like here it's like classist. It's about like how much you have and like where you've been educated more than it is about like black and white and shit, you know? So I think y'all are like the only people, because it's like 2 and 2. Like when people knew, they're like, oh, New York, that's that shit, yeah. And y'all are like, oh my gosh, she just said cunt. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. She said cunt in a song, and y'all love that shit. And I'm just like, when I first came out with 2 and 2, and like all the English people were just like, oh my God, how could you say cunt? I was just like, well, what do you mean? How could you not say cunt? Like, that's cunt. Like, because when you say something's cunt, it means like it's feminine and it's like desirable. Like, I just happen to have put it in a song, you know, like. My mom was a single mom, all my aunts were single moms, like, and I grew up with like 2 sisters. So it was always just a house full of women, and that's just what it was. That like, you know, like we don't have a man around to like get shit for us. So like, Azealia, you 14, go get a job. Like you're getting real expensive with these hair weaves and this cell phone, go get a job, you know? So like, from when I was 16, I had a job, you know, like. And it's just always been that, you know, like my sisters had to pick me up from school, and like we were all just like a unit. And then once I got old enough to stay home by myself, like, you know, I would like get out of school, have my little key, I go to the store, get a little sandwich, whatever, go sit in the house, like take care of yourself.
I read an article the other day that described you as a Twitter personality without mentioning the music. I want to know what your take is on that.
Well, that's just other people, like, because look, I'm 21 years old, you know what I mean? I'm Generation Y, you know? My entire generation, we grew up on AOL, we grew up on Skonex and MySpace and all these other things, you know? These are just like these old head, like, you know, just, they don't understand. My generation, we're interested in each other in that way, you know what I mean? We're interested in what you ate for breakfast, and we're interested in what you're doing to your hair. We're interested in that. We're obsessed with technology, you get what I'm saying? And anyone calling me a Twitter personality, whatever, you're just jealous that people are more interested in me telling you about my breakfast than they're interested in what you have to write on your freaking music publication. Be mad and stay mad.
So you think it's a case of generation gaps?
Of course, that's totally what it is.
How do you feel though about constantly being scrutinized?
I don't care. Your problems with me are not my problems. Those are your problems.
When you writing a song, What is your process to writing a song?
It depends. Like, sometimes I'll have a concept and like a title that I'm working towards, and then it's like, okay, I need to sit down and it's really calculated. But sometimes it'll just be like a beat that I like, and it's like, okay, I need to get on this beat, you know? Like, I don't know what I'm gonna say.
Fast beats, slow beats, or mid-tempo beats?
I like fast beats.
You gotta get on some of them slow grooves, baby girl. 'Cause see, one thing about a slow groove, it'll never play out. It's just time. It's just a slow groove.
This is so surreal right now.
No, it's the truth.
This is mad surreal right now. Like, I was a little, like mad little, like when my mother was watching this, like cooking in the kitchen.
What makes you, I think, sort of interesting and made me like sort of open my eyes to what you do is that you have a really authentic hip hop sensibility, and that like it's just sort of part of who you are, being where you're from and the music you're around.
Yeah.
When you're in house in these other different worlds, it kind of all seems authentic, which I think is where a lot of people generally struggle. As far as actual performance goes, what do you think you're best at, and what comes most naturally to you?
I think singing definitely comes most naturally to me. I think that since I've been rapping so much over the past 3 years, I've kind of lost a bit of my singing abilities. I think I'm definitely a better singer than I am a rapper. Originally, I was like musical theater girl. I was supposed to be like on Broadway. If I didn't get a record deal, I would have probably still been going like on auditions for shows and whatever I could get, you know what I mean?
So did you ever make a decision to pursue music instead of acting, or is it just what happened to come into your life?
I was doing it both at the same time, but it was weird because when I first started rapping, I was smoking a lot of weed. And when you're a kid smoking weed, you can't really like handle weed the way you can handle it as an adult, so it really affects you. Like I'd just be so stoned at these auditions, and like my headshot would be crumpled and my sheet music would have like shit on it, and it'd just be like who's this bitch, you know what I mean? But I would write all these raps, and I had this boyfriend who would like record me and shit like that, and I'd put the stuff out, and that was kind of just like my like excuse. You know what I mean? And for a minute, rap was just like my excuse. So it was like whatever, like.
A good thing to do while you're high and act like you're doing something.
Yeah, exactly, and act like you're doing something. Exactly,
right.
You know.
You're like, oh my God, I'm being so creative. It's like,
Oh my
am
God.
I really? Or am I just stoned and sitting around?
Harlem World.
You have a lot of different styles when you rhyme, but one thing you do really well is rhyme fast. Is it just that you have a lot of shit on your mind? How did the fast rhymes come?
I love like rhythm. You know what I mean? Someone just like.
Young Juicy, young Uzi, Mike. Rat a tat tat tat, knick knack, kitty pat pat pat. Silly cat, you don't have that scratch. How you do that, do that, do that, that. 1991, my time has come. 099, my your time is done.
Like I want to just get like the flyest. Like I want to like make another beat on top of this beat. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm like getting myself out of the habit of doing, because I just like sometimes it's just like rap, mathematical, blah, 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 blah.
Black snatcher, like the Zachary Black Cat, eliminating when you was at my stash at. I bet you been extra gas. I should really wanna touch up on the last stat. I should really wanna take up on the kids at today, cause the kids at your shade. You wanna cut with your bitch at the A.
Do you sort of admire people who are able to sit back so much? Because there are some artists who like, what I admire most about them is what they do with the space on their songs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Is that something you'd aspire to do, or is it just hard for you to resist?
I don't know, like it changed. Like my answer's gonna be different next year. You know what I mean? Because as you get older, you just find different things. Of course, I'll probably always rap, but for me, I'm just like obsessed with music. You know what I mean? Just audible music. I have like an indie rock song on my album, and I like wrote it. You know what I mean? Like, and wrote the parts and wrote the bass, and there were like, there's house songs on my record where there were horn sections that I wrote, you know, and there were like raps that I wrote. If you look through my books, it's like just pages and pages and pages and pages. Like sometimes like it'll take like a whole notebook on a song. It's just like Azealia Banks is a musician. I want to get to the point eventually where I can just be like a songwriter, because I don't know, that's not to say that I don't want to perform, you know what I mean? But I don't want it to be like such a demand, because when you're a young artist and you're a new artist, there are just like certain dues that you have to pay and certain things that you just have to do. You know what I mean? Certain territories you have to hit. You know what I mean? You've never been seen in Poland. You have to go to Poland and do the show.
I had to go to Poland.
But you know what I mean?
Yes, no,
It's
in
like,
your case, yes, I do know what you mean.
I want to take that break in between albums 2 and 3 and like go do some training and, you know what I mean, get some like skills. So it's more like skill based and not so just like, you know, like urban and free and whatever, because that can get like kitschy, you know what I mean, especially with the internet and everyone's just lobbing their art, music, ideas, selves, me, Twitter, everything into this fucking like junk space all at once. It's real easy for good stuff to get lost. So tired. Tired of all this drama. You go your way. So tired.
Show me rich niggas out tryna risk they all with the whip JB. AZ's on the block, straight cheese on the chop. AZ's they talking that sick sadistic shit. These niggas think they grew up too tough. For ripping niggas head off like you what you pop. Sending to Jehovah like you up who got so I got a situation. He took her to the Louvre Paris. You want a chance with a younger, wanna ruin the wave. You wanna juniper please. To get the grands and the hundreds and the shit with the bleed. To fit the grands and the hundreds and the loot of the beat. High class, no school, the tuition is free. Little bam, no fool, intuition is cheap. Give me the gym of the Jews, I commission a fee. I make hits, motherfucker, never do it for free, huh? Young tender from the NYC, no contender, none in my league. Young killer in the denims, young venom on the MIC. Young villain been developing the heat that stick. Elite rap bitch, I cut this in the beat back quick. Tipping on these niggas, suck the got shit. Cause you gon' be a bitch, nigga, I'ma be that bitch. What?
I was in the 212, I'm the uptown aim nigga, you know what's up or don't you? Word of who made ya? I'm a rude bitch nigga, what are you made up of?
These bitches know that I be on that black girl shit. That black girl pin up with that black girl dick. Put that black girl spin up on your whack girl tip. Ain't official till they pin up in that black girl kit. Pick out your mans in the track real quick. I'ma hit him with that venom in that rap girl hip. I slip out the denims on that black girl fit. Get that Remy in it, didn't hit that black girl switch. Bitches of the tan for the summer, and for the haters. Quit that chit chat and get your paper. Coke cinnamon and cherry melange, bitch. Verbatim when they speak about your face and the claims with the flavors. You get that instant stimulator. Take a lick up on my genital, then sip the savor. Do your bands in this licorice interest the favor.
Saying you grinding, but you ain't going nowhere. No, why you procrastinating, girl? You got a lot, but you just waste all yourself. They'll forget your name soon. And will nobody be the thing but yourself, yeah.
Come around, let the little baby run it down. Whip from sipping Bailey, sipping champagne on the L's. 19 number naughty, baby, press it on your dial. Sex, kitten, honeys, no cougars in the house. I'ma hush the rumors and the doubt. Came in the game with a beat and a bounce. Never for the fame, my feet on the ground. Cloud number 9, headed to the stars. Maybe I'll ride with my mic and my bra. Maybe I'll recite in the raw. The appetite for life and the hunger for the more. The island of Manhattan, I was born in New York. City never slumbers. I would always dream but never sleep to the hundreds. Cocoa with the cream in abundance. $1 million baby, you could get it if you wanted. What?